Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Odisha government's flagship initiative, the Subhadra scheme, which will be the largest women-centric initiative in the state. It is a financial assistance scheme to transfer 10,000 rupees per year to eligible women beneficiaries in the state between the ages of 21 and 60. A total of 10,000 rupee per annum will be paid into installments of 5,000 rupees each on Rakhi Purnima Day and International Women's Day, 8th March. Organ-on-chip technology. Recent advancements in human-relevant 3D culture models have shown promising results in the field of precision therapeutics. Include organ-on-chips could boost BioE3 goal to personalize medicine. World Ozone Day, 2024. In India, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change celebrated the 30th World Ozone Day in New Delhi recently. Dobson Unit, DO, it is the unit of measurement for measuring the amount of ozone in a column of air above the Earth's surface. If the temperature goes below 78 degrees Celsius, stratospheric clouds form, worsening the status of the ozone hole. To phase out CFC, the Indian government has brought the Indian Cooling Action Plan, ICAP, document to phase out demand for refrigerants by 2037 to 38. CFCs are nearly 2,000 times more potent than carbon dioxide, CO2, in terms of their global warming potential. Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. Adopted at UN Convention on Biodiversity Diversity, COP15. Goals. GBF contains 4 global goals. Kunming-Montreal Global Goals for 2050. Targets. The framework contains 23 targets. Kunming-Montreal 2030 Global Targets. 30 by 30 target, 30% of the Earth's land and oceans protected status by 2030. The 16th Conference of the Parties, COP16, dedicated to biodiversity will be held in Cali, Colombia, from 21st October to 1st November 2024. The Earth is about to have a temporary asteroid or mini-moon named 2024 PT5. Mini-moons are temporary satellites that are difficult to detect due to their small size and speed, often being mistaken for space debris. However, astronomers are confident that 2024 PT5 is a natural object. The asteroid was discovered by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS, in August 2024. An asteroid is a small rocky body that orbits the Sun, primarily found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The reopening of the Arulmigu Pidari Ettiamman temple in Tamil Nadu after Dalits were denied entry highlights the ongoing struggle against caste-based discrimination in India. The landmark temple entry proclamation was issued by Maharaja Chitira Thirunal Balram Verma on 12 November 1936 in the princely state of Travancore, now part of Kerala. Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, RVP, is a new set of national awards instituted by the Government of India to recognize outstanding contributions in science, technology, and innovation. The awards aim to honor both individual and team achievements across 13 domains, including physics, chemistry, biological sciences, engineering, and more. The RVP is one of the highest recognitions in India for scientific and technological accomplishments, and it demonstrates the country's commitment to fostering excellence and innovation in these fields. What are the categories of awards under the RVP? The awards are categorized into Vigyan Ratna, VR, for lifetime achievements. Vigyan Shri, versus, for distinguished contributions. Vigyan Yuva Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar, VYSSB, for young scientists up to 45 years. Vigyan Team (VT) for exceptional team contributions. How does the RVP differ from the Shanti Swaroop Bhatnagar SSB? Awards. The RVP is administered by the government, while the SSB awards were administered by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research (CSIR). The RVP also has a broader scope, including categories for lifetime achievement and team contributions, and covers a wider range of domains compared to the SSB awards. COP16, Saudi Arabia, Global Combat Desertification and Land Degradation Crisis. COP29 Climate Conference in Azerbaijan. What is QNLP? QNLP stands for Quantum Natural Language Processing. It's a field that explores how quantum computing can be used to improve how computers understand and process human language. QNLP focuses on grammar, syntax, and meaning, semantics, together rather than separately as conventional systems do. The UN Summit of the Future. What is the main focus of the upcoming UN Summit of the Future? The summit focuses on ensuring a sustainable and just future for all, particularly emphasizing the rights of future generations in the context of climate change. Tamil Nadu hasn't received its education funds from the central government due to a disagreement over implementing the National Education Policy, NEP, 2020. The centre has made signing and more for the PM Schools for Rising India, PM Shri, scheme, which requires full NEP implementation, a prerequisite for the funds. Tamil Nadu has opposed certain provisions of the NEP, particularly the three-language formula, and has thus far refused to sign the unmodified MoU. Samagra Shiksha, the flagship central scheme for school education in India. Tamil Nadu is yet to receive its allocated funds for this year. PM Shri, a scheme to create model schools showcasing NEP implementation. The centre has linked funding for Samagra Shiksha to signing and more for PM Shri. NEP 2020, the National Education Policy introduced in 2020. Tamil Nadu has objections to certain provisions, including the three-language formula. K.M. Mushi, a prominent Indian independence activist, politician and writer, was appointed as the Agent General of India in Hyderabad in 1948. This position was crucial in the lead-up to Operation Polo as it represented the Indian government's interests in the princely state. Munshi played a key role in negotiations with the Nizam of Hyderabad and advocated for the state's accession to India. Padmaja Naidu, the daughter of Sarojini Naidu, was a prominent freedom fighter and politician. Her act of defiance in unfurling the Indian flag in Hyderabad during the Quit India movement demonstrated her commitment to the cause of independence. Later, she served as the governor of West Bengal, where the Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoological Park in Darjeeling is named in her honor. Shyam Benegal, a renowned Indian film director, shared a childhood anecdote related to Operation Polo. As a young boy in Hyderabad, he witnessed the Nizam's attempts to smuggle weapons from Pakistan and, in a playful act of defiance, threw pebbles at the planes in an attempt to disrupt their mission. This story highlights the tense atmosphere and resistance to the Nizam's rule in the lead-up to the Indian intervention. Major General L. Edrus was the commander-in-chief of the Hyderabad State Forces, which resisted the Indian Army during Operation Polo. Despite initial defiance, he ultimately surrendered too. Major General Chaudhuri, recognizing the futility of further resistance and prioritizing the safety of his troops and the people of Hyderabad, Major General Jayanto Nath Chaudhuri led the Indian Army's Southern Command during Operation Polo. He successfully negotiated the surrender of the Hyderabad state forces, led by Major General L. Edrus, bringing an end to the conflict and paving the way for Hyderabad's integration into India. His role was crucial in ensuring a swift and relatively bloodless resolution to the crisis. The dollar's dance. Lower US interest rates can weaken the US dollar compared to other currencies. This is because investors might seek higher returns in other countries where interest rates are relatively higher. A weaker dollar makes US exports more affordable, benefiting American businesses, but it can also increase the cost of imports for US consumers. Emerging markets beckon. Lower US interest rates can make emerging markets, like India, more attractive to foreign investors seeking higher returns. This influx of foreign capital can boost the local economy by fueling investment and creating jobs. Central bank contagion. Other central banks around the world often follow the Fed's lead. If the Fed cuts rates, they might also cut their own rates to stay competitive and prevent their currencies from appreciating too much. PM Mitra scheme. With an aim to boost scale in the Indian textile sector, the centre in 2023 had approved the setting up of 7 PM Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel (PM Mitra) parks to develop world-class infrastructure with an outlay of 4,445 crore rupees for a period up to 2027 to 28. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi had also approved setting up of 12 industrial smart cities under the National Industrial Corridor Development Programme (NICDP), with an estimated investment of 28,602 rupees crore. Prime Minister's Employment Generation Programme (PMEGP). The government is implementing PMEGP for assisting entrepreneurs in setting up new units in the non-farm sector. It aims to provide employment opportunities to traditional artisans, rural and urban unemployed youth at their doorstep. Jute production is expected to drop by 20% in FY 2024-25 due to natural calamities, National Jute Board. Initiative taken. Establishment of the Jute Corporation of India (JCI), Jute Packaging Materials, Compulsory Use in Packaging Commodities, Act, 1987 enacted for the compulsory use of jute packaging material. Other, Jute Mark logo, improved cultivation and advanced rating exercise, Jute iCare scheme, etc. World Meteorological Organization (WMO) released second edition of WMO Ozone and UV Bulletin. The release of the bulletin coincides with World Ozone Day, 16th September. World Ozone Day celebrates the implementation of the Montreal Protocol and the later amendment to the pact, known as the Kigali Agreement. Key findings: the ozone layer is recovering, with ozone-depleting substances, odds, decreasing. Full recovery to 1980 levels is expected by 2066 over Antarctica, by 2045 over the Arctic, and by 2040 for the rest of the world. The Kigali Amendment could potentially reduce global heating by 0.5 degrees Celsius by 2100. Online Information and Database Access or Retrieval (ODAR) Services. Directorate General of GST Intelligence (DGGI) has suggested reciprocal arrangements with foreign governments for information sharing and enforcement measures to prevent tax evasion in ODAR services. DGGI is apex intelligence organization that collects and disseminates intelligence on GST, Central Excise, Service Tax evasion. Operates under the Ministry of Finance. About ORDAR services provided through the medium of internet and received by the recipient online without having any physical interface, e.g., cloud services, digital content, etc. If a foreign service provider renders ORDAR services to an unregistered recipient located in India, the foreign service provider is mandatorily required to obtain a registration under Indian GST and pay GST. Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB) has introduced stringent environmental compensation (EC) guidelines to penalize violations of the BWM rules 2022. Famous poet and lyricist Shyamlal Gupta Parshad was recently remembered on his birth anniversary. About Shyamlal Gupta Parshad, 9th September 1896 to 10th August 1977, born in Narwal, Kanpur, he was a freedom fighter, journalist, social worker, and teacher. Contributions: composed patriotic song Vijay Vishwa Tiranga Pyara, Jhanda Geet, in 1924. He also participated in major movements like Salt Satyagraha and Quit India Movement. Social worker, founded many organizations including college, orphanage, and girls' school. Also actively opposed dowry system and advocated for widows' remarriage. Edited a monthly magazine called Sachiv Achievements, awarded Padma Shri in 1973. Values: justice, courage, determination, etc. According to a global research on antimicrobial resistance, GRAM, published in Lancet, over 39 crore deaths by antibiotic-resistant infections are estimated to occur worldwide by 2050. Global Efforts Against Antimicrobial Resistance Global Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance, GAP. Globally, countries committed to the framework set out in the Global Action Plan, GAP, 2015 on AMR during the 2015 World Health Assembly and committed to the development and implementation of multisectoral national action plans. World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, BAW. It is a global campaign that aims to raise awareness of antimicrobial resistance worldwide. Global Antimicrobial Resistance and Use Surveillance System, GLASS. WHO launched it in 2015 to continue filling knowledge gaps and to inform strategies at all levels. Global Antibiotic Research and Development Partnership, GARDAP, a joint initiative of WHO and the Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative, DND, GARDAP encourages research and development through public-private partnerships. Country-wise initiatives, a multisectoral $1 billion AMR Action Fund was launched in 2020 to support the development of new antibiotics, and the UK is trialling a subscription-based model for paying for new antimicrobials towards ensuring their commercial viability. Peru's efforts on patient education to reduce unnecessary antibiotic prescriptions. Australian regulatory reforms to influence prescriber behavior and initiatives to increase the use of point-of-care diagnostics, such as the EU-supported ValueDx program. Denmark's reforms to prevent the use of antibiotics in livestock have led to a significant reduction in the prevalence of resistant microbes in animals. Measures taken against antimicrobial resistance in India. National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance, NAPMR. It has a focus on the One Health approach and was launched with the aim of involving various stakeholders, ministries, departments. AMR. Surveillance Network, Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR. Established the AMR Surveillance and Research Network, AMRSN, to generate evidence and capture trends and patterns of drug-resistant infections in the country. India's Red Line campaign, which demands that prescription-only antibiotics be marked with a red line to discourage the over-the-counter sale of antibiotics, is a step forward. National Antibiotic Consumption Network, NACNet. The network sites compile data on antibiotic consumption in their respective health facilities and send it to National Centre for Disease Control, NCDC. The Kerala Drug Control Department launched Operation Amrit, Antimicrobial Resistance Intervention for Total Health, to prevent the overuse of antibiotics in the state. The Union Ministry of Agriculture is planning a smart precision horticulture program under the existing Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture (MID) scheme. The government has also set up 22 Precision Farming Development Centers (PFDCs) across the country to test new technologies and modify them according to local needs. It will cover 15,000 acres of land in 5 years, from 2024-25 to 2028-29, and is expected to benefit about 60,000 farmers. At present, the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, AIF, launched in 2020, has provisions for financing infrastructure projects for smart and precision agriculture. In India, the practice is so far developed for nutrient use efficiency, NUE, and water use efficiency, WUE. Government initiatives, India Digital Ecosystem of Agriculture, IDEA. It is a framework designed to lay down the architecture for a federated farmers database, facilitating innovative agri-focused solutions using emerging technologies to enhance the agricultural ecosystem. National E-Governance Plan in Agriculture, NEGPE funds are allocated to states UTs for projects involving modern technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, ML, robotics, drones, data analytics, and blockchain in agriculture. Integrated Scheme for Agricultural Marketing, AgMarkNet, supports the creation of agricultural marketing infrastructure by providing back-end subsidy support and offers services through the AgMarkNet portal for stakeholders including farmers, industry, and policymakers. The Prime Minister inaugurated the 4th Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo, ReInvest, in Gujarat. It is a global platform bringing together key players in the renewable energy sector. India's targets. India has a vision is to achieve net zero emissions by 2070, in addition to attaining the short-term targets which include increasing renewables capacity to 500 gigawatts by 2030, meeting 50% of energy requirements from renewables, reducing cumulative emissions by 1 billion tons by 2030, and reducing emissions intensity of India's gross domestic product, GDP, by 45% by 2030 from 2005 levels. Rossby waves. These are large-scale atmospheric waves, also called planetary waves, that occur primarily in the mid-latitudes of the Earth's atmosphere. They form in jet streams with high-altitude air currents flowing from west to east and have a meandering pattern that influences weather across the northern and southern hemispheres. These waves are most prominent where there is a large temperature contrast between the equator and the poles. The Indian Summer Monsoon Rainfall, ISMR, is a major climatic phenomenon that occurs when moist air from the Indian Ocean moves towards the Indian subcontinent. SMR is influenced by the surface temperatures of the Indian, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans, as well as the Circumglobal Teleconnection, CGT, a large-scale atmospheric wave flowing at the mid-latitudes. Arctic Ocean. It is the smallest of the world's oceans, centering approximately on the North Pole. It is bordered by Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia, and the United States. Key seas includes the Barents, Kara, Laptev, East Siberian and Beaufort Seas. In the near past, the National Legal Services Authority, NALSA, organized the 3rd National Lok Adalat of the year 2024 in the taluks, districts and high courts of 27 states UTs. It was organized under the stewardship of Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Judge of the Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman, NALSA. The 20th Maritime State Development Council, MSDC, concluded recently in Goa with significant advancements in India's maritime sector. This event brought together stakeholders from the central government, states and union territories to resolve over 80 issues, focusing on port modernization, maritime infrastructure, connectivity, and regulatory frameworks. What are the key highlights of the 20th MSDC? New initiatives launched. The MSDC launched the National Safety in Ports Committee (NSPC) application on the National Single Window System platform to streamline regulatory processes, improve efficiency, and reduce costs for maritime sector. Stakeholders through real-time performance monitoring and enhanced information sharing. Indian International Maritime Dispute Resolution Center (IMDC) was launched to resolve multimodal and international maritime disputes, reinforcing the Resolve in India initiative. Indian Maritime Center (IMC), a think tank focused on fostering collaboration and innovation among maritime stakeholders, was launched. Major port projects. India's 13th major port at Vadhavan in Maharashtra and the designation of Galathea Bay in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands as a major port were highlighted. Radioactive detection equipment (RDE) plans were made to install radioactive detection equipment at ports for enhanced security. Discussions included setting up places of refuge for ships in distress. Maritime State Development Council. The MSDC, established in 1997, serves as the apex advisory body for the development of India's maritime sector. Its primary aim is to promote the integrated growth of major and non-major ports in close coordination with state governments. MSDC monitors the development of minor, captive, and private ports in maritime states to ensure their integrated development with major ports and assess infrastructure requirements, making recommendations to the concerned ministers. Recently, a study by scientists from Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, an autonomous institute of the Department of Science and Technology, has observed the MPMBA effect in magnetic materials. It revealed that hotter paramagnets transition faster to their ferromagnetic phases compared to colder ones, even when they are initially at a higher temperature. Paramagnets have a temporary and weaker attraction to magnetic fields due to the random alignment of atomic magnets, while ferromagnets exhibit a permanent and stronger attraction with ordered atomic magnets. The transition from paramagnetic to ferromagnetic phases occurs as the temperature decreases, reaching a critical point known as the Curie point. MPMBA effect. It is a counterintuitive phenomenon where a hot liquid cools or freezes faster than a cooler liquid. It was first noted by Aristotle in his book Meteorologica and rediscovered in the 1960s by Erasto MPMBA, a Tanzanian schoolboy. Researchers recently discovered a new species of parasitoid wasp named Centratus palemani that matures inside living adult fruit flies before bursting out, much like a scene from the Alien films. Cellulitis disease, which used to affect a few people during the rainy season, is now widespread in the erstwhile Karimnagar district, Telangana. It is a serious deep infection of the skin caused by bacteria. It most commonly affects the lower part of your body, including your legs, feet, and toes. However, it can occur in any part of your body. It also commonly appears on your face, arms, hands, and fingers. Normal skin can be affected by cellulitis, but it usually happens after some type of injury causes a skin break, including trauma or surgery. The infection happens when bacteria, most commonly Streptococcus and Staphylococcus, enter through a crack or break in the skin.